Yo, what is happening? This is Jim Simmons.
This is Steve Mayeda.
Hey, what's happening, world? So we're going to talk and have a conversation. I don't know really about what, but Jim is a guy that I've known since 2012. And I've been teaching in the dating and seduction and men's development world for a long time. And this guy, everybody knows. In fact, somebody was at the party yesterday and they said, I recognize that voice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And actually, we should start out with this. And I've been thinking about this recently. I appreciate all of you people who watch these videos. You know, the guys that take the course. And I very much appreciate, and I think I speak for a group of us, I very much appreciate all of you who help to keep O-Sensei and groceries over here. Thank you very much. Thank you, because that keeps this whole organization and operation and this community alive and well and healthy, and we've managed to do that for how many years now? I mean, a lot of years.
11.
Yeah, and as a result, we've helped a lot of people.
Hey, I'm going to say this, Jim, because this got brought up the other day, is that it got brought up by a new client, and I won't say his name, but I've been working with him for a couple months. And he said, man, you say some of the best stuff, Steve. You're obviously one of the best coaches in the world, but nobody knows about you. I never like to say that, but our group is awesome. Like, so our group, you're a part of a lot of groups that are men's groups, and especially men's groups, talking about self-development, dating, sex, health, fitness, business, all that sort of shit. And we have an amazing group, and we have a very unique group that is very different. And at the same time, I honestly think it's normal. I don't think there's anything.
It should be.
Yeah.
It sure as hell should be normal. Everybody ought to have the opportunity to do this, but very few people do.
But what's different about the TSL AMD type thing?
We got you.
What's different about me?
You have a gift. You have
How
a
so?
gift.
I can talk a lot?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it amounts to.
But you too.
A gift for social dynamics. Well, I'm a little bit limited in that there's a limited number of things in this life that I am really and truly good at.
Right.
And the rest of it's pretty mediocre. But on the short list of things that I'm good at is I can talk.
And you can tell a good story, man. That's a beautiful thing. So you say I have a gift for social dynamics. But what was interesting is the guy brought up a point that had nothing to do with social dynamics of what was so unique. Because there's a lot of social dynamics coaches, but I think they do it differently than me.
What did he see?
He was like, well, you say things just about perspective and problem and growth and what works and what doesn't work, and you kind of pull the covers off of a lot of the bullshit, like what Anthony Robbins might say or whatever. I mean, great guy, obviously. I don't want to start an argument here, but, what some people might say is like, you just got to do it. You got to push your comfort zone, and you say things like...
Have confidence.
Yeah. You say things like develop your identity rather than push your comfort zone or do these extreme things. And
a lot of people rely on slogans. Slogans that it's hard to develop the meaning behind them or process to get there.
Yeah.
Just have confidence.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's something very special about, I'm just doing something on Facebook here.
Well, and maybe that's another part of it. We have a really well-developed curriculum, a process, a repeatable process that's been done so many times before that we know how to work it, and based on the experiences that we've had, no matter who you are, no matter what your problem is, your Tourette's or your autism or your house burned down or, your mother beat you and your daddy raped you, or your mother raped you and your daddy beat you. It's pretty hard to come up with a story we haven't heard before.
Yeah. Exactly. And also the thing to know about that is I try and type in here what is... we've heard that, but you can have a good life, right?
Oh, and if you do have a new story that we haven't heard before,
we want to hear that. We want to hear that. That's the.
But you've got to go a ways to hit us with anything that's really all that new, and I love the course that you developed in the first place, and the idea that we've all gone back as a group.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of the mastermind group has gone back and developed and refined, and undoubtedly will continue to develop and refine the course in the process.
Dude, I was just thinking about this because, when it comes down to that, I'm making a new course, and I did almost all of it yesterday or Saturday. I was like, it was crazy. I was working out in the yard. Mm-hmm. I mowed the yard. We're preparing for the party. It was just my son's birthday party. Jim was there.
It was good.
And, so I'm mowing the yard. I'm doing all this yard work. I have a garden. That always takes a lot of work. And I'm like, man, I have energy. I'm gonna finish the Instant Connection 7-day challenge. So I did like 4 days, just nonstop, all the videos, all the writing and PDFs, and which is, decent amount of work. Actually, I think I wrote probably like just under 10,000 words in a 5-hour spread. I mean, it's all stuff that I know, but I was like, I'm going to do it. And as soon as I got done with those 4 days, I was like, this sucks. I gotta do it. I gotta do it again.
Get some of the other guys to work on this.
Yeah.
Honestly, what we do really focus on is the TSL online 90-day course, and especially in the mastermind group. But if you want to make some kind of funky products, you can have at it. The rest of us don't really fool around too much with the secondary products.
You will like. So the problem with, and I say it sucks, but it doesn't suck. It's really awesome. The stuff is very particular, and I don't want to say it's advanced, but a lot of people say it's advanced. I think you could learn it like that. I think you can learn it right now what I covered in the Instant Connection course, but some people who might watch it might think it's too advanced, but it's stuff that you would like. Because, okay. And the reason for the Instant Connection course is basically this. I don't know why I'm saying this, the deal, but like, it's so you can know about TSL Online. TSL Online is the best. It's the best program.
But
it's
this
awesome.
is just a taste.
Yeah.
If you do Instant Connection or any of the other secondary programs, it's just a taste of the real deal. And, I don't know. I want to go back to where I started, though. I appreciate all of you who have gone all the way and taken the 90-day course. I appreciate all of you who have taken the introductory courses. And I'm grateful for all of you who are just in AMD. Even if you're fucking lurkers, I'm grateful to have you there. And there's a reason for that. I've had to develop that gratitude because, well, I've had some frustration with you dumbasses. I've honestly been frustrated and disappointed with some of you dumbasses who ask what to me are the most obvious and foolish questions, and yet you have the doorway right there in front of you.
No,
all you have to do is walk through it.
It's unbelievably frustrating. Like, let's look on Austin Men's Development right now where this video is being broadcasted live. But there's so many people that join that board, and that board's a free board for a reason.
I'm so grateful for you to be there. And your presence, whether you are a lurker or an active member, your presence makes it a better community.
Yeah. And also it's a community where there's not like a lot of shit talking and stuff like that.
Oh,
it's great in that sense.
Hey, what an outstanding point, because all of us have been in places where there's all that shit talking. And that's another point we should be grateful.
So that being said, let's talk some shit.
This is a civil, a civilized place.
Yeah, that's very good. So here's what I think is part of the, the problem's so big, especially with Austin Men's Development, which is a great place. I want people to come there. I advertise it all the time. I advocate it. I'm on there every day. I'm like adding to it. There's awesome guys adding to it. Like Doc here just posted something, and there's probably not enough people reading Doc's posts. But the difficult thing is to determine what's real and what's fake. And a lot of people are in a mode where they're not working on themselves, or they're kind of working on themselves but not taking it seriously, or in a template where they're taking it seriously, and they fucking post shit and people get caught up in it because you're speaking your language. And it's basically, you always hear the saying, the blind lead the blind, but there's people that don't know about life, sex, bettering yourself, having a mind that can speak for yourself, developing your body, your mind, your spirit, and all that sort of stuff in your best life. And they're making comments on what you should do, which sounds really fucking good to other people who haven't done shit.
It does, no doubt.
It's amazing, man. And then there's the people that have done shit. And what they're saying doesn't sound good to you because it takes work. So basically the thing is you need to stop fucking listening to the people who don't have shit in their lives, or who aren't there yet. And they in self-help, like, this is where everybody like me has ruined it, because we've given you ways to broadcast to sound like you're saying something good, but you're not. It's very clear, anybody who's been there, that you're full of shit.
Well, one of the things that made TSL work, that made the original TSL online courses work from the beginning, and it's based on this guy's character, is non-judgment. All right? No matter who you are, no matter how screwed up you are, no matter how twisted and perverted your fucking mind might be, there's no judgment.
Yeah. And we want you to talk about it.
You've got every opportunity to be and live any way that you want. And we want you to talk about it. So we're reaching a difficult position where we know that some of you are full of shit and don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But the other side of it is, we're going to let you talk. You're welcome to it. You're welcome to your voice. That non-judgment is what makes this.
Dude, Hans Comain's here.
Oh, cool.
That's another great board.
Come on in.
I don't know if Hans's group is open to the public, but
not really.
Okay.
Unfortunately not.
Well, you should get Hans's book. He is having me read it right now. I'm supposed to write a review for it.
The Way of the Seducer.
And the best part about that book is the cover. That's all I got to say. And it's easy to read. I'll say that too.
You're an animal.
There's pictures.
You're a fucking animal.
Well, but that's what's missing. There's so many people that are part of like Hans's group or his philosophy. Well, maybe not so much, but I'll say of the Zan philosophy, and I know they don't work together anymore, but they're both great guys, is that get so into the poetry. The poetry's there.
The romance.
Yeah.
But Hans, you are a man I deeply and truly respect, because you're powerful, you're ruthless, you're determined and focused, and straight ahead, stand up man.
Yeah, Hans is a good representation.
You don't find that often in the world.
Of power. Yeah. And again, this is, man, here's what I don't get, Jim, is like Hans, competitive cyclist, and he does things with his life that have meaning other than just being a guy in seduction. And I hate to lump you in that group, Hans, but we're all in it and we all hate to be in it. But like he does something. He does something with nobody else does that shit.
Hey, this goes back to part of Zan's original advice. Have an adventure that's not her.
Yeah.
Get a fucking life, boys. Yeah, okay, I know we want to get it off, and okay, I know you've jacked off until it's sore and red, and it takes hours, and you're ready to do it again today. But get a fucking life.
What's actually funny is this is a crazy story. I don't know if it's appropriate for the live, but it's always appropriate to talk about non-judgment. Yesterday, so I shit you not, Jim, yesterday, whatever we were doing outside, 2 days before that, I killed as many fire ants as I could, as many fire ant mounds as I could, because there were going to be kids playing in our outside. We had this big party, right? In Texas, there's these ants that bite you, and they bite you, and it hurts, and they mob you. Yeah. They like my feet. You look at my feet.
Because I work out in the yard. Nasty little pus-filled blisters, and they're nasty.
So literally yesterday, ants got in my pants. So I have genitals that I'm taken out of commission.
Good for you.
I got the ant.
Little pus-filled blisters.
Yeah, not yet. No, that's gonna be later today when they fucking burn and itch like crazy. So if I'm scratching my my junk guys on video.
Hey, if you scratch those blisters, that's how it scars.
Oh, I know, man.
If you can manage,
I got
to
enough
not
scars
scratch,
on my dick, dude. It's all good, man.
Oh well, yeah.
Those came from other things.
I got a couple scars on my dick too.
But yeah. So basically, where were we at? Hans, the group, badassery.
I don't know. I'm having trouble getting past the scars on our dicks.
Dude, let's hear a story about that, man. I want to know about scars.
It's not worth it. But we're appreciation. Honestly, people, I'm in order to overcome this frustration. What I've done is turn to gratitude, and I'm truly grateful to have you here at whatever level that you're capable of at this point. But I want to encourage everybody to pursue this as deeply as you can go. And when you come out the other side, you're going to be an infinitely better man. An infinitely better man for this.
And, there's a lot of proof of it, too. I mean, there's so many guys on Austin Men's Development who have achieved such a great level of social and had problems. I mean,
don't look at us. We're on the tail end of this. These are guys that.
Yeah, people have way better lives than me.
Oh, yeah.
That's it's crazy.
Yeah.
And the thing about what we do is it's not about how good your life is by society standards. It's about, are you happy today? Are you happy? Are you socially healthy?
Fulfilling.
Yeah, and think about this, because your kids are downstairs, and we were talking about this earlier. Mm-hmm. They can meet anybody. They have great social skills. When you have great social skills and you can meet people, you have a huge part of your life that has command. When you have the ability to have a sexual life, when you start entering into that, mm-hmm. and you don't have women choose you, and you don't settle, and you don't do all these things, you stop needing to be this alpha guy. You stop needing to be this, whatever. That's all compensation. That's all there to basically make you feel better because you feel like shit. Yeah. Like the bigger the person's goal is, that is so associated with pain, is a link back to the greater the pain, and we never look at that shit. Nobody puts that in check. Nobody, and
well,
go ahead.
Go ahead and feel your pain. I mean, it's real. It's righteous. There's a reason for it.
Pain.
But there's more to you and your life than your pain. And in our storytelling lesson that we have, this is one of the points.
You love that.
That's one of the points that I make, is that everybody has great stories that, for the most part, we have suppressed and forgotten, mostly out of modesty. But if you take the time to think about it, you have done some great things. You have been to great places. Your life is, no matter what pain you are in, and legitimately in this pain, there's still, you're a great man and you've lived a great life.
Well, let's talk about that.
Selectively forget about it.
No, let's talk about that, because that's everybody's problem, man. I mean, the whole point of the sexual life was that I like sex. There was shame about sex, and people said it was bad, and I knew there was a bad part. I knew there was a good part. But the whole point of it was that if you tap into it, if you tap into who you are, you become a great man. You become a great man. And so many people are like, Austin Men's Development is too much about sex. Well, look, we started off as a sex company and dating and all that sort of stuff.
Fuck you. We're going to be about sex.
But you cannot be a great man. You cannot be a great human being if you are out of place with your sex. And actually, I was just talking to this therapist today about, we're going to do some work together. It's pretty cool, man. Mm-hmm. This is pretty awesome. But he went into all the sex stuff, and I was like, dude, that's not an issue for a lot of my guys, because they've figured they're okay with it. There's no more, sex is only a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's only a big deal because we have so much guilt and shame. And
it's a big deal if you don't
privacy.
have any.
Yeah. Don't have any, and you won't talk about it. Or you have it, and you think it's from another part of yourself.
Oh, yeah. Another part of yourself. It's not integrated. This is the animal. Yeah. The animal in the cage. I had the animal in the cage, and that's not me. But every once in a while, I have to let him out and get some relief. Yeah, that's deadly. Here's the bottom line, guys. If you figure out, and I know a lot of people don't buy this for some reason, but if you figure out who you are, legitimately who you are, how you react, and how you react in certain situations, what you really want out of life, what would be truly fulfilling, how you got to this point in life, what you really and deeply value. When you figure that out, then you walk out the door into the world with a solid place to stand and a direction to be headed. And that's what makes you comfortable in the world. People say, well, get confidence. That's how to get fucking confidence, boys. Figure out who you are, how you got there, where you want to go, and what you really value. That's not easy.
Yeah, a lot of people think that that's like some simple thing that they can write down.
You can write that down. Please write that down.
Yeah, that's
but
where you
it's
start.
not easy. It's a long process, and it will be an ongoing process throughout the course of your life. But that's what puts you in a place where you have confidence. That's what puts you in a place where you have honesty and that authenticity, which is a word that's been so grossly overused. Yeah. That's how you get it.
I mean, and let's talk about that authenticity. You know, I just put up a podcast about the truth today and how people get it wrong or whatever, you know, some catchy title, but for one of my podcasts, Daily Oz podcast, you should listen to it. But the thing is that when it comes to truth, we all get wrapped up in this idea that the truth is good, yet we don't realize that we lie all the time in life, and that's fine. Like, why can't that be okay? When we talk about authenticity, we think it's this image. We think it's this thing that we're supposed to chase because every single one of you motherfuckers who's in pain needs a goddamn hero in order to build your life up, you know, so that your real life can be a fucking comic book, you know, magazine or something like that. That one day you're going to be whatever, the Hulk or Peter Parker or whatever the fuck, you know, whoever.
Steve Mayeda.
Yeah. Dude, you don't want to be me.
Go ahead, make him your guru. Yeah, guru.
Yeah, I want to talk about this because, like, again, this guy. No shit, man. And then fucking Tony Robbins says that movie, I'm not your guru. It's like just so fucking, you know, but don't get me wrong, man. I like broadcasting my stuff. I like attention. You know, there's probably a lot of like, you know, adoration that I've always been motivated by that. But I have a very normal life. Like, I have a pretty life that most normal people like get to where I get or beyond that. Okay. In terms of society standards. But even in the self-help realm of people who are life coaches, they don't have normal lives. And that's weird. You know, that to me is odd. Like, I have a family with kids. I have, like, you know, all this stuff that is just like normal guy stuff. Like, I mow my lawn or whatever. Terrence would kill me if I said that. But people don't have that. And why not? Like, if you look at and this isn't just the dating industry. This is like the Lewis Howes types, the guys who are like really popular, the podcasts you listen to. And the reason why that doesn't happen, man, I don't fully know. But the thing is that one thing I know is that I had to work very hard at this. The reason why I'm a good coach is because I've explored deep parts of myself while exploring deep parts with other people, and we did it as a group.
Along with the fact that your life was so completely and thoroughly fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in this business, it's a real advantage to having been there. You know, no matter how fucked up your world is, we can
I tell
with that.
I tell that to everybody who's a drug addict, man. You have the greatest gift because you, if you have a big hole and you get to some place of stability, it's just an awesome thing. But the funny thing is I want to point this out to people, especially with dating coaches. Like, these guys don't have their lives together. And that's not a knock against them. They're getting there. A lot of my friends who are dating coaches, and they're kind of digging themselves out of this hole. But why do you worship them? Why do you people who sit on the sidelines, who's like, you don't have your dating life in the right place or whatever, or you want to get a better job, or you want to like get more purpose in your life, or all this stuff that, you know, men's self-help goes for, or maybe even women's self-help. But why do you fucking have to worship somebody? I do not have a platform where that happens. I have a platform where we all talk. I have a platform where I have a bad day. I can talk about it and be open to it. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking amazing, man. And yet a lot of people go, oh, well, wait a minute, but we need a Lord or somebody. No, you need a little bit of guidance in a platform. And I'm a great coach to get you there. And there's a lot of special things about it. But your pain and your fucked upness that tells you it has to be special in this bullshit comic book way is bullshit. Like, I'm a human being. I get hurt. I get wrecked. I fuck up. And I want to be there when I'm working with people to show you that, because you can get out of it. You know, I mean, fuck, man, when I met you in 2012, there's a lot of shitty things going on in my life. You know, and it's...
And you didn't hide it. I mean, it was obvious. Well, but we're really only talking to a percentage of the people who need this hero thing. But there's still another group that will bounce around from one coach to the next.
Oh, yeah.
One of my pet peeves, I'm sorry, boys, the 20-something coaches, the fuck do you people know to be coaching?
Who would you say are good men's development coaches?
You and Hans and Zion. And beyond that, just don't... Maybe they're nice guys. But if you want to really study, if you want to seriously become a better man, there's 3 coaches. And it's Zan and Hans Comain and this guy. That's it.
Hey,
That's
Gary,
all you need.
Gary's on. He probably has something to say about this. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches. There's a lot of really, really good coaches.
Yeah,
but
true. And people that will help you. Our man, Gary. Boy, I'd love to work with Rob Brendan. You know, there are a lot of people that I would like to work with.
Yeah.
But if you're really in pain and you want to find the path to become a man, there's, in my version of the world, really only 3 coaches.
Yeah.
And everything else would be, these are people that would be nice to work with. I would like to spend some time with Adam Goodson, Rob Brendan. I'm sure there's a couple others that I'd like to put on the list. So basically,
people that you've worked with, these are the guys.
Yeah, people that I know about that I want to know more of their methodology.
Right.
But that's more like a training. You know, I'd like to train with these people. But as far as coaches, to get you through the angst and to get you to be an upstanding man, the list is very short.
And also what I'd say is, like, a lot of people might see, I mean, I know this is the case with me, but they might see this with Zan and Hans, and this isn't the case, that they think it's all just about seduction, and it's not. It's so far beyond that. I mean, I remember I didn't get to hang out with Zan and Hans a lot. I met them together a long time ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, but they were the few guys that I could actually talk to about the realness. Like, man, having a relationship. I watched somebody's podcast the other day, not long, but it was about relationships. It's like, you as a man, no. You as a man in a relationship, and I can tell you from this, and I can tell you that most guys in pickup have never been in real relationships. They've been in, like, 3-month ones, or maybe ones that were all disjointed for 2 years or whatever. But, like, in a relationship, you're going to feel bad. You're going to step down sometimes. You're going to step up sometimes. You're going to wear the pants. You're going to sometimes have to take other pants off. There's going to be all sorts of shit, man.
And you will ultimately end up heartbroken. That's part of the process.
Totally. But
it's part of the deal.
Man, this is crazy because this came up in our sex and relationships call. If you're willing to throw out your commitment, your word, your idea of what you wanted to be, and even the potential of what you could be, because you believed in this girl at some point. If you're willing to throw that out because you get butthurt over something, that's fucking stupid, man. That is so dumb. But so many people lessen. This is just how much we fucking hate ourselves in our society. This is so crazy, man. Because like all men feel it. We hate ourselves so much that we won't listen to our own word, our own commitment, our own dreams, our own ambitions of what a relationship could be when we feel a little bit of pain. We're so used to not feeling with that pain, and we're so agitated with our own personal lives that our word and who we are and our ideals goes out the window when we feel that pain, when we get that button pushed of, oh my God, it's fucked. And then we wait until an emergency when we have to break up with them. you know, and then they become this like horrible, you know, evil person that deceived us. We didn't know.
We wait way too long. You know, that same process applies to the self-identity, self-discovery.
Yeah.
We're in pain, and it's hard to see. It's very, very difficult to see how we actually react to stimulus. If you had applied a regular stimulus, how would you normally act, and why you act that way? It's just really hard to see clearly and be honest with ourselves. In fact, we had Jim ask that question on
Jim D.
Yeah, on the TSL board. He did the identity workbook for the first time, and he said,
awesome.
"I don't know how much of this is true.
Right.
Some of this might be what I hope I'm doing, and some of it might be true." But he said, "I don't know what the balance is," and what I told him is just carry the questions around with you. And when I did the identity workbook, I literally did that. I carried them on index cards, and continue to sit in the question while you experience these things in your life, and you'll see what the truth is. But far too often we delude ourselves into what we hope is true, what our pain tells us is true, and it's not who you truly deeply are.
You know, it's always a funny thing because, like, trauma and all this, and this comes up a lot. So for guys that work with us, there's like this big deal. And it might be a big deal by society standards, and it might not be, but it's a big deal to you, so it's a big deal. Whenever you have a big deal in your life and you relive it in your head, your mind starts to make up how it happened, and that's how you have to deal with it. So like a lot of times I didn't realize this with myself, like experiencing some discomfort in my childhood, and you know, I don't want to call it abuse anymore, but I thought it was for the longest time. But you imagine it is like it happened every day. I don't know how much it happens. I don't know the degree, but it seems like it felt like it was all the time, every day. And if you feel like a failure, and that's a big secret to you that you can't put out, if you feel like you're less than, or that you're really good at some stuff, but there's this part of you that isn't good, whatever the fuck it is that's a secret with you that you think is terrible. And even if it's a big secret that society says is bad, like, you know, I you know, fucking got molested, and I, you know, kill small animals or whatever. And it could even be something that's illegal, but explore it with, you know, the proper people or the trained therapists or whatever. But it could be this thing that's a secret. If you don't treat that, or if you don't come to terms with it or let it out and start to see it as normal, then you're always going to suppress it, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, it's got to grow too. It's got to breathe. It's got to have its space, and it will fight to get out of that box you put it in and crack it. And in the meantime, it's going to crack everything else within you. And so we always go like, well, man, I got this the other day. I always cheat on my girlfriend. These guys, and like, Steve, you're in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, I remember that girl.
I cheat on my girlfriend. I love her. I can't be with her.
Girl. She was one of the rugby girls.
No, that was true too. But this was coming from a guy saying I always cheat. This is a common question, obviously. But it's like I always cheat. But yeah, the rugby girl was saying I always cheat on my boyfriend and her girlfriends with her girlfriends. It was a pretty interesting. That sounds like a pretty good relationship, man. But basically, I get this a lot. And they're like, man, but I want to have kids. Why can't I do this? Why can't? And the answer is, if you're always cheating on your girlfriend, or you're always, you know, somehow, you know, promiscuous and breaking your commitments, you got to be okay with. You can't stop running from that. That's coming out for a reason. That doesn't mean you need to cheat more, but that means maybe you need to not be in that relationship. Or if you are in that relationship, you gotta take the judgment out of yourself. You gotta lift the lid off of that box and let that fucker breathe and manifest. Because the reason why it's manifesting so hard is because it's being forced to. And when you don't force it, it'll change into something else. A lot of times when it's like, let's say I'm cheating on my girlfriend all the time and I can't have a monogamous relationship and I'm ruining her and I'm a terrible man. Why can't I control this? Why can't I learn the conditioning of it? And see, this is the fucking problem with all you motherfucking dating coaches out there who are saying that this is like a frame or some honor or some fucking authentic. No, you're wrong. You all fuck up too. You can't be in a relationship either. You're fucking terrible at it. Stop lying to your goddamn audience. But the thing that I needed to do that needed to change big time with me is I needed to let that out and stop judging myself for it and say, okay, I am the guy that can't have a healthy relationship, that it's impossible. The deepest part of me, I am constitutionally incapable of having a functional relationship. Every girl I meet, I may ruin her life. I may fuck things up. I may be oversexed. I may do all this sort of stuff, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stop running from who that is. I'm going to stop saying that that person is a bad person. I'm going to let that person be a person. I'm going to start being, open about it or whatever. And if I want to lie about it, I'm going to lie about it, but I'm not going to lie to myself anymore and think I can trick myself. And guess what happened? I can now have a relationship. That was step one. There's more to it than that. But once you can get that guilt and shame out of it, that's why all these fucking dating coaches talk all this bullshit, but they can't do it. But once I was able to get that out of my system, and not just get it out of my system by fucking a bunch of people, but get it out of my system by stop judging myself, then I could start learning those traits of what it actually means to be authentic or to be a stand-up guy or blah, 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 like all this stupid shit. And that's how I know all these motherfuckers are lying.
Circling back around.
Circle it.
Circling back around to where we were a little while ago.
Do it.
About the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And especially our childhood experiences. When you bring that story back up and tell it to yourself over and over again, it's called ruminating. Ruminating, as in a ruminant, as in a cow.
Obsession.
The cow that chews its cud and spits it back up and chews it again and swallows it and chews it again. That's how that word came up. You're ruminating on these old stories. And as time goes on, they change. Not only does the story change, but the meaning of it changes too.
Yeah.
And it would be better if we could just let these things lay. Okay, that's where I was at, and put it in the file, and when you need it, when it applies to anything in your life, you can get it out and use it as a reference point, yada, yada. But far too often we use it to experience pain, to experience shame. Something in your life says I should be ashamed, and so you pull out the old story. Yes, I'm a bad person. I'm a terrible person. And that's a danger that a lot of us are not aware of. Ruminating, pulling the old stories out and running that loop over and over again. Boy, truck drivers are really good at it.
Hey, you have a lot of time to think.
Yeah, there's a lot of time to think, and you'll take that one thing that happened when you left the yard this morning and got in the truck. Some little conflict you have with somebody that normal people would forget in 10 minutes, it's all gone. Hour after hour, you're chewing on this, and by the time you get back, you're mad as hell, and you're going to kick that son of a bitch's ass. All over some little chicken shit thing, because you couldn't let it go. Because you continued to ruminate on it for hour after hour. And it turned into something completely different. Try not to let yourself get in that position.
And the more that we train ourselves to do that, the easier it is to do. So like, man, what was it the other day? I was pissed off about the car. I get pissed off about the car again today.
Hey, you're rightfully pissed off. You should be.
So anyway, I can't figure out this fucking problem with my car, man. I'm pissed off. I'm angry and I'm pissed. So where this goes, I don't really need to explain the situation that much. It's a frustrating experience. When you do something and you're not getting the right result and it just repeats and you're exhausted from it and you don't know, it pisses you off, right? It makes you mad, right? Whatever that is. Like, let's say you lost a bunch of money. Let's say you got rejected by a girl. Let's say you dated a girl, didn't work out or whatever. But something happened where you really put your earnest effort towards it and it did not work out. And the first thing that I think when that happens is that I should fucking, like the world hates me. God hate. Why does this always happen? I'm cursed. Why do I even try? All this pity comes up. And that's me personally, right? So that's what I personally feel. You may not feel that, but very common for a lot of guys in recovery like myself. You get into this like pity mode that's just insane. And so I literally can't get myself out of it. Like every single thing, they call it in NLP a filter. Every single thing that I look through is looked through with this filter of that I suck, my life sucks, everything's against me, why even try, fuck it, fuck, everything's going to go away anyway, blah, 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 blah. And everything that's good in my life looks bad. So there's all sorts of great ways to reframe it and go, oh, I have things, or I can make gratitude list or whatever. I have to stop that. Okay, and that's the important thing. I need to stop that because I know where it goes. And I know that way of thinking has fucked up my life. The crazy thing about that way of thinking is that you don't know what fucks up your life until a couple days later or months later or years later. So it's not immediate, so you can never pinpoint it. So anyway, it took 30 plus years to figure out that this is not good, right? So I needed to stop that.
It took 30 years to figure this out. 3 decades.
Just wait till I'm 60,
this
man.
Dawned on him.
There'll be like this thing like, oh yeah, you just wake up and it's not a big deal. You just stop complaining. Life's good. Or whatever.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So anyway,
it doesn't work that way, guys. I mean, not only do we understand you're in pain and we're not going to judge you for it, but it's not going to go away this week.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't find the tools to get yourself on the path and start working. And it's, for a lot of people, it's a long, slow process. TSL Online is a 90-day course. We have people that get to the end of the 90 days and the door's open for them. Now they're off and running. But we have a considerable number of people that come back 6 months or a year later. And honestly, when I think back to where they were at when they finished the course, I was not impressed. You know, they're still having the same struggles. They didn't appear to make much progress. But a year later, they come back and say, that was the turning point in my life.
Everhard's here.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
He's in Prague.
Yeah.
But no, man. So back to the rumination thing. I was stuck in this mode of rumination. And we all get stuck in that mode of, you need to get out. And it feels impossible to, but what do? I pick up the phone. I reach out to my groups. I went and walked my dogs. And I take myself out of the situation that's causing it.
Get busy.
Because it does not do anything for you. You know, you can act your way into good thinking, but you can't think your way into good acting. But I mean, it does not do anything for you to stay in that mode. And I think so many guys like stay in that mode of obsession or rumination of the mind spinning, the hamster wheel going in your head, and think that that's going to help you in some way. I mean, we're driven to want to do that, but it's not a good thing.
As so often, the not necessarily the answer, but the tool to get ourselves out of problems in life is get busy with something else.
Yeah.
That's the answer for depression.
Yeah.
You know, get up, go do something, whether you want to or not. Just get your ass out there and do something, and it doesn't matter what, as long as it's an activity that absorbs you, and it goes back to the have an adventure that's not her.
That's right.
You know, if all you're about is sex, if all you're about is trying to pick up women, man, that's ugly. That makes you ugly. What makes you beautiful and what makes you an attractive man is that you have a life.
You know, it's a funny thing. I just thought about this now. I mean, I just put my finger on it. But we have such a lack of identity that we all want to be individuals so bad, and we can't be individuals in real life, whatever that means, whether that's at our job, whether it's on your social media presence, so that we become individuals with our problems. And we argue and fight about how our problems are so much more unique and different than everybody else's. And this is actually part of the new Instant Connection Challenge. But one of the big jumps to rapport, or what builds connection in people, is, let's say I'm having a bad day and I say, I can't fix my car and it's pissing me off and I'm angry. And somebody comes up to me and they don't really know me. Or maybe they do know me. Maybe you come up to me and you go, oh, Steve, get over it. It'll all work out. My first inclination to that, even though Jim knows me, is that he doesn't understand the uniqueness of what I'm feeling. Not literally that he hasn't worked on a car and it's been frustrating. He knows that. I know he knows that. He knows that more than me. But
I don't know what's going on in that sick mind.
Right. So the pain or the confusion that I'm feeling, I feel he doesn't know. So then I feel that his comment is self-serving. So his just gesture of like, get over it. It's like, man, fuck you. You don't get it. But if he took time to really make that connection. And all that's needed to make that connection is understanding where I'm coming from, or at least the attempt to understand where I'm coming from, that it really matters. And me understanding where he's coming from, then he can say whatever he wants after that. And so if he said something like, man, I've been there, that's, or whatever, you can't literally put your finger on it because it's accomplishing a feeling. But if he says something like, fuck, man, you just want to hate the world, or go fucking get an axe and hack up everything and break shit. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, man, let's go over and fucking get a cup of coffee and a cigarette and go walk or something. That then makes me understand it. Then that connection happens. My problems don't have that connection with the world. So I sit there and say I'm a fucking individual that I can't change, that it's impossible for me to get any help from everybody because I walk away from my problems before they ever get fixed or whatever. Anyway, and then the same thing goes for my identity. And the reason why I say that is because my identity is shit. You know, that my value of a human being, the things that I know are good, the world doesn't recognize. You know, I can't get it out there. You know, everybody else does blah, 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 blah. Or I walk out on the street and people don't recognize me for the person I am. This is all a lack of expression. And we live in a world where it's not easy to find that expression, but you can take that. And this is really what TSL and all the different things that, you know, Austin Men's Development or the sexual life is all about, is how can you express in this world? How can you be you? And how can you be plain old you? Because plain old you is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's the fucking best thing. Why do you need to be a hero? Why do you need to be a god?
Plain old you.
Plain old you is badass. You live, you cry, you smile, you die. All this sort of stuff, man, is fucking awesome. But you think you need something more to your life? Man, why? You know how joyful it is to wake up and get a call from Jim and be like, no, you didn't wake me up, man. It's blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
it's,
I did.
It's fucking cool. That's awesome. Like, you have friends coming over. I'm in bed. I'm with my son. You know, he's playing. He just turned 3. That's a fucking great, great thing. But that's not good enough? Like, I got to get a bunch of recognition for it, man? It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, we all want to be successful in our life. And we think it's going to be fulfilling. I mean, and it usually is in an area that is important to us. You know, whether it's business or creativity, or it's an area that's important to us, but we think it's measured by success, when the truth is that it's measured by how fulfilling it is for us to produce in that field. You know. So I don't know, my life sucks, but I don't want any of your lives. Thank you very much.
I always like it when, if you're ever on the calls, I talk a lot, except on the Sunday call for 2 hours I talk, and then Terrence and whoever else, you know, goes off, right? They just go crazy, like talking about their shit. But it's so funny when Jim comes in, clearly different pace, different cadence, but there's always these little gems. In fact, you're on the calls less than, because you used to be on them all the time.
Yeah.
And now we just have too many, but you're probably the most requested guy of, like, and especially with sex. It's always guys who, like, want to know more about sex or seduction.
Well, okay, I enjoy talking about sex. I'll talk to anybody about sex anytime, but I don't know why I'm requested, because I give you people so much shit. I don't know what you see in this, but yeah, just my life sucks, but I don't want anything. I don't want yours. I'm fine. Go off, be a porn star, enjoy yourself. I'm good.
So why does your life suck? That's what I want to know.
Oh, dude, it's just not. My work life has been a disappointment.
But is it fulfilling?
To some degree. The experience is fulfilling. The work itself has been huge disappointment, an ongoing disappointment. There's no money, there's no respect, there's no nothing that it's not provided me a comfortable life. So, and I'm not really interested in going too many other directions at this point. I don't have any ambition. Fuck you. I'm glad the rest of you are ambitious. You want to do things. I don't want to do shit. I want to fuck. I want to eat. I'll sit around and eat.
I just remember after Jim ate some food this morning, he was like, that makes it all better, some food in the belly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really and truly enjoy the simple pleasures in life.
Well, I think also, like, it's interesting because you say my life sucks, and that may mean something different than everybody else. Like, you just are saying your life sucks. I think a lot of people say their life sucks and they hate themselves for it and all this other sort of shit.
I don't hate myself.
You know, and then that it's got to bring all this other baggage, you know. It's, man, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, let's look at this. Like, a lot of people, you know, they get to know me and they find it's interesting, like, what I might do for a living or that I do this. And this is all I do. You know, I only coach, and then my wife doesn't work currently at the time, so it's a lot of, whoa, what just happened? It's a lot of, like, there's a lot of pressure on me. But that all being said, like, there's way more successful coaches than myself out there. You know, in comparison to some of them, especially for as long as I've been around, it's like, man, it's really disappointing. But if I get caught up in that, and see, this is where guys get caught up in it. When your life sucks or whatever the fuck it is, and you start thinking that that's about you. And this will happen to me with when I look at, like, the coaching industry and all this sort of shit, is that it's like, God, man, I should be doing more. I should get more recognition, blah, 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 blah. But that makes me not be able to see the things that I have that are so unique about it.
Does it feel good?
It's awesome. And, dude, I've been in business for a long time, and I've seen a lot of guys come and go. And I'm the only one that has a community that, I mean, shit, dude, when I break up with my chick, which is like a huge, horrible thing in my life, I have all this support. When I have any question that needs to be, like, answered or worked through, I have that there, you know, and I guess I am weird.
Yes.
Because no other.
Yes, you fucking are. You're sure enough weird. So.
You say I'm weird for different reasons that I'm saying I'm weird.
Well, you know, I keep saying you have this gift with social dynamics. Some people might describe it as something other than a gift. You know, some people might describe it as a disability. And maybe you have to have a disability in the first place. You'll remember that Milton Erickson, his gift with hypnosis and social dynamics came from the fact he had polio as a youth. You know, in order to have these gifts, this little twist and kink in your world perspective, a lot of times you have to have something broken in the first place.
Isn't that life, though?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in my garden. There's nothing that doesn't struggle to live.
That's true. You have a fucked up garden. That's true. I mean, he's making a good point here.
Well, anyway, Jim, what else? Talk to me.
That's it.
That's it? We're done?
Hey.
What's the meaning of that?
Oh, yeah, a lot of you have heard me do that. This is a Native American term that was used across a great many of the Native American languages all across the northern part of North America, and it crossed many languages. It does not have a direct translation into English, but it's generally used when speaking at council. And loosely translated, it means there it is. That's it. It is done. It is said.
And for all of you guys that stuck around this whole time, we got to let the real gold out.
Yeah,
which I don't know what that is. we're fucking done. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening and paying attention to all this stuff. Be a part of our communities and talk to us on the real. Like, that's the whole point. This isn't just so you can sit back and passively be entertained. It's so you can, like, actually interact. Like, please interact. That's what we're saying. You want to have your, this is the dumbest thing. You want to have your life better, and it will literally get better. Hang out and talk and interact and share part of your life, and we'll share parts of our life, and things will get better because we are fucking goddamn good at it. We are literally one of the best in the world at it, and it's proven over and over and over again. So why would you just sit back and passively listen, man? Fucking interact. Come on, Austin Men's Development. Make the board better and actually be a fucking part of it. And if you want to interact like on multiple calls a week, you can do that going to our membership site, which is either at the Men's Development Excellence or the starter.
And you have a life.
Yeah.
And maybe Wednesday night, block out a couple hours, get on the Wednesday night call. And do that every week. And you get to be a regular on that call. You know the regular people that come in. It's part of your world and your community. Anyway, anybody that has hung out with us this long, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Bye.